Welcome back to GrimFace Motivation, where we don't just inspire, we transform. To our returning viewers, thank you for standing with us. Together, we've helped thousands of people break free from the chains holding them back, reclaim their power, and turn their lives around. You're living proof that no matter how dark the path, resilience and determination can light the way. And this is just the beginning. To those joining us for the first time, welcome to the GrimFace movement. This isn't just a channel, it's a mindset, a community of warriors who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Here we challenge the status quo, we face the hard truths, and we dare to do what others won't, so we can live the life others can't. If you're ready to step into the fire, to confront the excuses, the fears, and the doubts that have held you back, then you're in the right place. Join the GrimFace movement, and let today be the day you take control of your destiny. Now, let's dive into the lessons. These aren't just concepts, they're weapons to equip you for the battles ahead. Each one is a step closer to mastering yourself, your goals, and your life. Stay focused, stay relentless, and most importantly, stay in the fight. Because the GrimFace movement isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Understanding why you quit. Do you know what's worse than failure? It's the haunting emptiness of an unfinished task. That ghost that lingers in your mind, whispering, "You gave up." We all carry those ghosts. Projects left half done, dreams abandoned, ambitions cast aside. They don't fade away, they fester. They remind us that somewhere along the way, we chose comfort over growth. But here's the truth you don't want to hear. Every time you quit, you reinforce the habit of running away. You train yourself to accept less, to settle, to be smaller than you're capable of. Quitting becomes the poison that drains your potential one drop at a time. Why do you quit? Let's tear down the excuses and confront the truth. It's not the circumstances. It's not the obstacles. It's you. Fear keeps you chained to the familiar. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of proving to yourself that you're not as capable as you pretend to be. But let's not sugarcoat it. Fear is only part of the problem. There's another demon lurking in the shadows. Perfectionism. You tell yourself, "I'll start when the conditions are right." You wait for the stars to align, for motivation to strike like lightning. Newsflash. Perfection is a myth, and motivation is a fleeting mirage. If you're waiting for either, you'll wait forever. And then there's the most insidious reason of all, lack of clarity. You don't quit because the task is hard. You quit because you don't truly know why you started. When your reason is weak, your resolve crumbles at the first sign of resistance. So ask yourself right now, what have you left unfinished? What dreams have you buried under the weight of your own excuses? Let the regret of those unfinished dreams burn you. Let it drive you. Because the first step to finishing what you start is facing why you quit in the first place. You want to stop being a quitter? Then stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending the world is to blame. Turn inward. Face the truth, no matter how dark it feels. Your failures aren't the end. They're the raw material for your transformation. Take a hard look at the projects you've abandoned. Write them down. Stare them in the face. They are not your tombstones. They are your unfinished symphonies. The only question is whether you'll pick up the pen and write the next chapter. Remember this: the graveyard of unfinished dreams is the most desolate place on earth. But you don't have to add to it. Today, you take the first step. Not by starting something new, but by understanding why you stopped. Only then can you break the cycle and become the person who finishes what they start. It begins here, It begins now. Confront the darkness and let it ignite the fire that will burn away your excuses. Lesson 2. Starting with why. Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you push through the grind, the pain, the monotony of life? If your answer is vague, if your purpose is hollow, then you are already walking a path that leads nowhere. A path where effort feels endless, where motivation slips through your fingers, where you quit before the finish line even comes into view. This is the cold, hard truth. Without a why, nothing you do will matter. Goals without meaning are just distractions dressed as ambition. Actions without purpose are like wandering through a storm with no destination in mind. You'll drift aimlessly until you lose yourself. But here's the light buried in the darkness. When you find your why, everything changes. It's the difference between surviving and thriving. It's the force that will drag you through the mud, the fire, the crushing weight of self-doubt. Your why is the armor that protects you from the chaos, the weapon you wield against every obstacle in your way. Ask yourself, right now, a question you've probably been too afraid to face. Why does this matter to me? Not to the world, not to your family, not to anyone else. Why does it matter to you? Why are you willing to suffer for it, fight for it, bleed for it? If your answer is weak, then so is your resolve. A flimsy why will snap under pressure, leaving you stranded in the middle of your struggle. But a strong why, one that cuts deep into your soul, will keep you moving when every muscle screams for you to stop. Don't fool yourself into thinking it's enough to want success. You have to know why you want it. Is it freedom? Power? To prove everyone wrong? To prove yourself right? It doesn't matter what your why is, as long as it sets your blood on fire. Here's your task. Write down one goal you've been chasing, and next to it, write why it matters. But don't stop at the surface. Dig deeper. Why do you want that promotion? Is it just for the paycheck? Or is it because you crave control over your life? Why do you want to lose the weight? Is it vanity? Or is it because you refuse to feel powerless in your own body? When you strip away the excuses, the expectations, the lies you tell yourself, what remains? That's your why. That's the fuel you've been searching for. And once you find it, no obstacle will be insurmountable. No failure will be final. Your why is your compass. It points you toward the life you're meant to live. But here's the thing. A compass is useless if you don't take the first step. So stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Find your why, hold it close, and let it guide you out of the darkness. This is where it begins. Not with a plan, not with motivation, but with purpose. Because when you know your why, you'll stop at nothing to finish what you start. Lesson 3. Prioritizing consistency over perfection. You've been lied to your whole life. You were told to aim for perfection, to do it flawlessly, or not at all. But perfection is a trap. It's a shiny, unscalable mountain that mocks you from a distance. The pursuit of it doesn't make you stronger. It paralyzes you. And here's the dark truth no one wants to admit. Perfection is the reason you keep failing. Think about it. How many times have you put off a project because you couldn't do it perfectly? How many dreams have you killed because the conditions weren't just right? Perfection is a thief, stealing your time, your energy, your progress. It whispers, "Not yet. Wait until it's perfect." And in that waiting, you lose momentum, confidence, and the will to continue. But here's the reality you need to embrace. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist, and it never will. What does exist is consistency, the steady, unrelenting grind, the willingness to show up again and again, even when you don't feel ready, even when the work feels messy, incomplete, or far from ideal. Consistency doesn't care about perfection. It cares about progress. And progress, no matter how small, is what separates winners from those who spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment. You don't need to be perfect to succeed. You just need to move forward, one imperfect step at a time. The more you show up, the more you'll grow. The more you push through the discomfort, the closer you'll get to your goals. So stop idolizing perfection. Stop letting it control you. The time will never be perfect. The conditions will never align exactly how you want them to. But that's no excuse to sit on the sidelines. Here's what you need to do. Pick one thing you've been avoiding because you're afraid of doing it wrong. Set a timer for 10 minutes and start. Don't aim for greatness. Aim for effort. Just begin. Because once you start, the fear fades. The hesitation disappears. Action kills doubt faster than anything else. Consistency is a weapon. Use it. Every small action, every tiny step, every messy attempt, it all adds up. And here's the secret. Most people don't realize. Consistency doesn't just build habits, it builds confidence. The more you do, the more you prove to yourself that you're capable, that you're in control, that you're a finisher. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. Perfection is a fantasy. Consistency is reality. And reality is where progress lives. So ask yourself, will you keep chasing the unreachable? Or will you take one imperfect step today? The choice is yours. But remember this, progress doesn't wait for perfection, and neither should you. Start now. Start messy. Start imperfect. But most importantly, start. And don't stop. Because those who prioritize consistency over perfection are the ones who finish what they start. Lesson 4. Cultivating self-discipline. Discipline. The word alone stirs something inside you, doesn't it? A mix of fear, resistance, maybe even guilt. Because deep down, you know that discipline is the barrier standing between you and everything you want in life. It's the wall you keep running into, the one you can't seem to climb. But here's the truth that cuts deeper than any excuse. Discipline isn't a skill you're born with. It's a choice. And every day you delay that choice, you stay trapped in mediocrity. Why do you struggle with discipline? It's not because you lack the ability. It's because you're too comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of discipline, and it's killing your potential. Every time you hit snooze, every time you scroll instead of work, every time you choose easy over effort, you reinforce the chains that keep you stuck. But here's the harsh reality. Life doesn't care about your comfort. Success doesn't care about your excuses. Growth doesn't happen in the warm glow of complacency. It happens in the cold, unforgiving trenches of discipline. Self-discipline isn't glamorous. It's not a motivational quote or a fleeting burst of inspiration. It's dragging yourself out of bed when you're tired. It's saying no to distractions when every fiber of your being craves escape. It's doing the work, day in and day out, whether you feel like it or not. Discipline is pain, but it's the kind of pain that builds strength, builds resilience, builds you into the person you were meant to become. So how do you cultivate it? Start small. Build the muscle brick by brick. Discipline isn't forged overnight. It's forged in the fire of daily decisions. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you grow stronger. Every time you endure discomfort, you move closer to freedom. Here's your task. Find one habit, just one, that you know will change your life if you stick with it. Maybe it's waking up earlier, exercising, or focusing on a skill. Commit to it, no matter what. Not for a week, not for a month, forever. Because discipline isn't something you turn on and off. It's a lifestyle. And when you falter, and you will, because discipline isn't about perfection, Don't give up. Get back up. The strength isn't in never falling. It's in rising every time you do. Discipline is your ticket out of mediocrity. It's the bridge between your goals and your reality. But no one can build that bridge for you. It's your responsibility, your burden, your power. So ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice comfort for greatness? Are you willing to endure the pain of discipline? Or will you settle for the regret of what could have been? The choice is yours. But remember this, discipline is hard, yes, but regret is harder. And the only way to escape that regret is to act. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, because every moment you hesitate, the gap between who you are and who you could be grows wider. Step into the fire, cultivate your discipline, and watch as the world bends to your will. Lesson 5. Harnessing the power of focus. Focus. It's a simple word, but it holds the key to everything you've ever wanted. Without it, you're nothing more than a ship adrift in a storm, pulled in every direction by the currents of distraction. Focus is the lighthouse that guides you to your destination. Without it, you're lost. But here's the bitter truth. In today's world, focus is under attack. Every notification, every scrolling feed, every flashing screen, they're designed to steal your attention. And you let them. You hand over your most precious resource without a fight. You tell yourself you'll start later, that a quick distraction won't hurt. But it does. Every time you break your focus, you shatter the momentum that could carry you forward. You trade progress for a moment of comfort. And those moments add up to a life of mediocrity. Do you feel it? That restless energy, that constant pull to check, to scroll, to escape. That's not just a habit. It's a weakness. A weakness that keeps you from doing the deep, meaningful work that will transform your life. But here's the truth that should wake you up. Focus isn't just about ignoring distractions. It's about obsession. It's about locking in on your goals with a ferocity that drowns out everything else. It's about choosing your target and refusing to look away until you've hit the bullseye. So how do you harness that kind of focus? You simplify. You prioritize. You cut away everything that doesn't serve your purpose. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but you don't have to follow. Your time is limited. Your energy is finite. Use them wisely. Here's your task. Create a fortress for your focus. Set boundaries. Turn off the notifications, the distractions, the noise. Carve out time for your most important work and guard it with your life. Because if you don't protect your focus, no one else will. And when you sit down to work, commit fully. No half measures, no multitasking, no excuses. Single tasking is your weapon. The deeper you dive into one task, the more momentum you build. And momentum is the force that separates finishers from quitters. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger with practice. The more you focus, the easier it becomes. The more you resist distraction, the less power it has over you. But make no mistake, this won't be easy. The world won't make it easy. Distraction is seductive. Comfort is addictive. But you're not here for comfort. You're here to conquer. Ask yourself, what's stealing your focus right now? What's keeping you from the life you want? Identify it, confront it, eliminate it. Because every moment spent distracted is a moment stolen from your future. Focus isn't just a tool, it's a weapon. And those who master it become unstoppable. So take control, harness your focus, and watch as the noise fades and your vision sharpens. Because the ones who can focus are the ones who finish what they start. And the ones who finish are the ones who win. Lesson 6. The role of accountability. Accountability. It's not just a word, it's a mirror. a cold, unflinching reflection of your efforts, your decisions, and your failures. And that mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't care about your excuses or the stories you tell yourself. It shows you the brutal truth. You are where you are because of the choices you've made, or avoided. But accountability isn't your enemy. It's the force that keeps you honest. The voice that whispers, "You said you'd do this. Now, prove it." Without accountability, your goals are nothing more than wishes. Dreams that drift away the moment things get hard. So ask yourself, when was the last time you held yourself accountable? When was the last time you faced the truth about why you're not where you want to be? It's easy to blame the world, to point fingers at circumstances, people, or bad luck. But deep down, you know the truth. It's on you. It's always been on you. Accountability isn't about guilt. It's about power. It's about reclaiming control over your life, your actions, your future. And the only way to wield that power is to take full responsibility for where you are and where you're going. But let's not sugarcoat it. Self-accountability is hard. It demands honesty. It demands discipline. And it demands that you confront your weaknesses head on. But here's the secret. You don't have to do it alone. Accountability is magnified when shared. When you tell someone your goal, when you commit to someone else, it's no longer just your battle. You've raised the stakes. You've created a system where your failure isn't just yours to bear. That's the kind of pressure that forces you to rise. So here's your task. Find your accountability. Maybe it's a partner, a mentor, or even a friend who won't let you off the hook. Share your goal with them. Commit to a deadline. Make it real. Because when someone else is watching, excuses lose their power. But don't stop there. Build internal accountability too. Set milestones. Track your progress. Write down what you said you'd do every day, and whether or not you did it. Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust. And trust in yourself is the foundation of discipline. Accountability isn't a punishment. It's a tool. A tool that sharpens your focus, strengthens your resolve, and forces you to face the reality of your choices. And when you embrace it, you become unstoppable. So ask yourself, who are you accountable to? Who's holding you to your word? And if the answer is no one, then it's time to change that. Because the truth is simple. You won't finish what you start if no one, not even you, is keeping score. Step into the mirror. Face the truth. Build your accountability. And watch as your goals stop being dreams and start becoming reality. Because the ones who take responsibility for their actions are the ones who finish what they start. And the ones who finish are the ones who win. Lesson 7. Managing emotions and motivation. Let's talk about the storm that rages inside you. The highs that make you feel unstoppable, and the lows that make you want to abandon everything. Emotions are powerful, unpredictable, and often uncontrollable. They're the currents that can propel you forward or drag you under. But here's the brutal truth. If you let your emotions control you, you will fail. If you rely on fleeting motivation to carry you through, you will never finish what you start. Because motivation is a liar. It shows up when things are exciting and disappears the moment the work becomes difficult. And yet, here you are, waiting for the next spark of motivation, chasing the next high, telling yourself that you'll start when you feel ready. That's the trap, the cycle, the lie. Because readiness is a myth, and your emotions will betray you every time. But what if I told you that emotions don't have to be your enemy? That you can manage them, channel them, even use them to your advantage? The key is simple but far from easy. Stop reacting to your emotions and start responding to them. Boredom, frustration, doubt. These aren't signs to quit. They're signals that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. They're proof that you're growing. And growth is painful. If you're not feeling discomfort, you're not moving forward. So what do you do when the storm hits? You anchor yourself. You anchor yourself in your purpose, your discipline, your why. You build habits that don't rely on how you feel in the moment. Habits that operate like clockwork, whether you're motivated or not. And when you hit a low point, and you will, you don't wallow in it. You don't let it consume you. Instead, you look for the small wins, the tiny victories that remind you progress is being made, no matter how slow. Here's your task. Write down 3 small wins every single day. Not monumental achievements, but the little steps you took to move forward. Did you write 1 sentence? Did you resist 1 temptation? Did you show up when you didn't want to? Celebrate that. Because success isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on small, consistent actions. And don't forget this. Your emotions are fleeting, but your commitment is eternal. You didn't start this journey to feel good. You started it to grow, to succeed, to become something more. That's the fire you need to stoke when motivation fades. So ask yourself, are you a slave to your emotions, or are you their master? Will you let fleeting feelings dictate your future, or will you take control? The choice is yours. But remember, the storm will come. The doubts will creep in. The motivation will fade. And when it does, you'll need something stronger. You'll need discipline, resilience, and the ability to push forward no matter how you feel. Manage your emotions. Find your small wins. Build habits that outlast motivation. And watch as the storm calms, the doubts dissolve, and the path ahead becomes clear. Because the ones who master their emotions are the ones who finish what they start. And the ones who finish are the ones who win. Lesson 8. Breaking goals into manageable steps. Big goals are seductive. They shine in your mind like a beacon, promising a better future, a life worth living. But here's the dark truth about big goals. They can crush you. They loom so large, so impossible, that you freeze under their weight. You stand at the base of the mountain, staring at the peak, too overwhelmed to take the first step. And that's where most people quit, before they even begin. They look at the enormity of their dreams and convince themselves it's too much, too hard, too far. But here's the thing, no one wants to admit. It's not the goal that's the problem. It's how you approach it. You don't climb a mountain in one giant leap. You climb it one step at a time. And that's how you achieve anything worth having. By breaking it down, piece by piece, until it's no longer overwhelming. The problem is, most people don't know how to break their goals down. They set vague, lofty ambitions with no roadmap, no milestones, no structure. They confuse the dream with the plan. And without a plan, a dream is just a fantasy. So here's the hard truth. If your goal feels impossible, it's because you haven't taken the time to map out the steps. You're staring at the peak instead of focusing on the next handhold, the next foothold, the next move that gets you closer. Breaking goals into manageable steps isn't just a strategy. It's survival. It's how you keep moving when the road ahead feels endless. It's how you build momentum, one small victory at a time. Here's your task. Take one big goal you've been avoiding and break it into 5 actionable steps. Don't overthink it. Don't try to make it perfect. Just identify the next 5 moves that will bring you closer to your destination. Write them down. Commit to them. And start with step 1. Today, not tomorrow. And here's the secret. When you focus on the next step, the overwhelming weight of the goal disappears. You don't have to conquer the mountain today. You just have to take the next step, and then the next, and the next. But make no mistake, this isn't about making your goal easier. It's about making it achievable. Because the truth is, big goals will always be hard. They're supposed to be. The challenge is what makes them meaningful. But when you break them down, you turn an impossible journey into a series of possible actions. So ask yourself, what's the next step? Not the final step, not the entire plan, just the next move that will push you forward. Focus on that. Execute it. And then ask again. This is how you win. Not by taking giant leaps, but by taking relentless, determined steps, one after another, until the impossible becomes inevitable. Stop staring at the peak. Start climbing. Because the ones who break their goals into steps are the ones who finish what they start. And the ones who finish are the ones who win. Lesson 9. Building mental resilience. Let's get one thing straight. Life doesn't care about your plans. It doesn't care about your goals, your dreams, or your timeline. Life will throw everything it has at you. Failure, rejection, pain, and doubt. And when it does, you'll have two choices: to break or to rise. Mental resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about enduring it. It's about bending under the weight of the storm without snapping. It's about looking failure in the face and saying, "You're not enough to stop me." But here's the truth most people won't admit. Resilience isn't natural. It's not a trait you're born with. It's something you build. And like any skill worth having, it's forged in the fire of discomfort, struggle, and adversity. Resilience starts with how you see failure. Most people treat failure like a death sentence, a final verdict on their worth. But failure isn't the end. It's the teacher. It's the forge where your strength is tested and shaped. The only way to build resilience is to stop fearing failure and start embracing it as part of the process. Ask yourself, how many times have you quit because things got hard? How many dreams have you buried because you couldn't handle the discomfort? That's not resilience. It's avoidance. And every time you avoid the hard things, you weaken your ability to handle them when they come back. Here's the truth. Resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in the moments when you want to give up, but choose to keep going. It's built when you fall and force yourself to stand back up, no matter how many times it takes. Here's your task. Take one failure, one setback that still haunts you, and write down everything it taught you. What went wrong? What could you have done differently? What will you do better next time? Turn that failure into fuel. Use it to build the foundation of your resilience. And don't stop there. Start pushing yourself into discomfort every single day. It doesn't have to be monumental. Take the cold shower. Stay in the gym for one more set. Work on that task for 10 more minutes when you want to quit. Every time you push past your limits, you're training your mind to endure. But make no mistake, resilience isn't about ignoring pain. It's about understanding that pain is temporary, that every struggle is an opportunity to grow. The more you endure, the stronger you become. Ask yourself this: will you let life's challenges define you, or will you use them to refine you? Will you be the person who breaks under pressure, or the one who rises above it? The world isn't kind to the weak. It's brutal, unforgiving, and relentless. But if you build resilience, you'll find that no storm can break you. No failure can stop you. Because you'll know that every setback is just another step toward your victory. Build your resilience. Embrace the struggle. Rise again and again until nothing can bring you down. Because the ones who endure are the ones who finish what they start. And the ones who finish are the ones who win. Lesson 10. Developing a finisher's mindset. Starting is easy. Anyone can start. But finishing, that's where the real battle begins. The graveyard of abandoned goals is crowded with people who started strong but faded when the excitement wore off, when the challenges mounted, when the finish line felt too far. But here's the hard truth. Starting doesn't matter if you never finish. Dreams don't come true because you tried. They come true because you endured. Because you pushed through the doubt, the discomfort, the darkness. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or opportunity. It's the mindset. It's the relentless, unshakable determination to finish what you start. No matter how hard, no matter how long, no matter how messy the process gets. But a finisher's mindset doesn't come naturally. It's something you cultivate, something you choose. And it starts with a commitment to yourself, to your goals, to the life you refuse to settle for. The first step is simple, but not easy. Burn the boats. Remove the option to quit. When you commit to finishing, there's no turning back. The moment you give yourself an escape route, you've already lost. Next, embrace the grind. Finishing isn't glamorous. It's not about grand gestures or bursts of inspiration. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when you're tired, even when you're bored, even when you don't feel like it. But here's where most people fail. They focus too much on the outcome. They obsess over the finish line and lose sight of the steps it takes to get there. A finisher's mindset isn't fixated on the end. It's rooted in the process. The small, consistent actions that, over time, lead to victory. Here's your task. Choose one goal, just one, and make a vow to finish it. Write it down. Set a deadline. Break it into steps. And then, most importantly, commit to the process. Treat every small step as a victory, because every step brings you closer. And when the doubt creeps in, when you hear that voice that says, "This is too hard, maybe I should stop," silence it. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the pain of unfinished dreams, the regret of giving up, the emptiness of almost. Ask yourself, who do you want to be? The person who always starts but never finishes? Or the person who sees things through, who turns dreams into reality, who refuses to quit no matter what? Finishing isn't about being the best. It's not about perfection or even success. It's about proving to yourself that you're stronger than your excuses, tougher than your challenges, and capable of achieving what you set out to do. This is your moment, your line in the sand. Will you step up and finish? Or will you join the countless others who quit when things got tough? The choice is yours. But remember this, the world doesn't remember the starters. It remembers the finishers. Be one of them. Commit to the process. Embrace the grind. And finish what you start. Because the ones who finish are the ones who win. Always. You've made it to the end, but this is where the real work begins. Watching isn't enough. Listening isn't enough. The transformation you seek requires action. Relentless, unyielding action. To our loyal GrimFace warriors, thank you for showing up, for standing with us, and for being part of something bigger than yourself. You are living proof that no matter how dark the road, we have the power to carve our own path. To our new viewers, this is your call to action. The GrimFace movement isn't for the faint of heart. It's for those ready to fight for the life they deserve, to confront their fears, and to embrace their inner strength. If you're ready to turn your life around, to step into the fire and come out forged in resilience, then join us. Subscribe, share, spread the word. Remember, the journey isn't easy, but the rewards are unmatched. Together, we've already helped thousands rewrite their stories. And together, we'll help thousands more. Stay relentless, stay fearless, and above all, stay grim. Until next time, keep pushing, keep fighting, and keep proving to yourself that you are stronger than anything standing in your way. We'll see you in the next one. Now go out there and make it count.